In my own words, how I would describe the creative process of making my work is, I think that it starts off with me. It always comes with a spark, you know. I feel like I give birth to an idea, a thought. I see a picture, I see an illustration, and then I immediately get a very big sense of the work as a whole by way of smell. It's a sensory experience for me, and then the magic is when I begin to find the collaborators that can bring together what I imagine and what I see, you know. So for Swan Song in particular, for example, I started writing it while I was at the Royal Shakespeare Company. Um, and I would say the seed for that was the death of my great aunt, Ruth Mompati, who, um, yeah, 5 years ago. And watching my mum be the last, you know, of her family and having to bury her last parent was so incredibly painful. And so being at the Royal Shakespeare Company, being the only, you know, black girl in the middle of the UK in this tiny town where Shakespeare was born and is famous, and that's what they do, was very isolating. So I had to find a way to express my own voice, not because I was scared of what it was that was around me, but because I understood that it was necessary, you know. Um, for Swan Song, I'd been watching. Let me stop. I'm getting into the next question. Concept of the story, as I mentioned earlier, I'd been awarded the Brett Golden Bursary, and I was at the Royal Shakespeare Company. And just before, I'd lost the matriarch in my family, my great aunt, my grandmother, you know. And after she passed away, watching Mama being the only matriarch and also the only living person in our family was so, of the people before, was difficult, you know. I didn't know that 5 years on, you know, she would pass away now in December, for example, and that's been crazy. Um, and so I was grieving at the time when I started writing and conceiving the story at the RSC in Stratford. And I felt very much like a duck out of water because, as I mentioned, you know, to be a black girl in the middle of Stratford in the UK, um, it's something else. I'm originally from the Northwest, you know. To be so far from home felt so far. So I started to imagine, okay, cool. So what would a swan in Africa be like? What would a swan at home be like? And to imagine it in the middle of the Northwest with that dry sand was just so absurd that it was something that I really got interested in investigating, because then it became a case of, okay, so as I was saying, it just became a case of me saying, okay, cool, so that isn't too far from what my reality is, you know what I mean, or what all of our realities are, you know. We come from certain places and then we go to other places and then we become by nature, you know what I mean, a combination of so many things, but essentially we are from home. So for me, the swan as a metaphor was about a lot of things. About Brett Golden, who the bursary was named after him as a young actor. He passed away. He was murdered execution style about 14 years ago now, and you know, Tata John Kani in the Market Theatre and Dame Janet Suzman came up with the bursary. So every time I would stare at the swans, you know, at Stratford, I would think about him and about how I'd gotten this amazing opportunity because someone had passed away, and about how my family, I'd lost all of them, and I just had a lot of grief to deal with, you know, and that's what this started off as. It is a cathartic experience, and that's what the performance has always been. Context is everything to me, you know, because for me it was so important that I pen and that I write a young, black, complex character who is irreverent and doesn't care about your niceties, you know, and who's there to tell her story in her way, in her dialect. Um, it was important to me because I needed people to see and to understand that we are real and we exist, and that we do know about Shakespeare and can turn on Lebo Mathosa immediately and can dream and can be absurd and think about things, and that we can also hurt and ache and miss home and be full of shame and love and be adventurous. And yeah, it was really important to me to show that we're real. I think that the level of intimacy and vulnerability really speaks to the incredible team that I have, from my director to the to the filmmakers who helped me, to my choreographer, to the designer artist who made the incredible wings, to the video art, to everyone who's given to this project, because I think people don't understand, or that I've been developing this for 2.5 years, we finally at a point where we get to share it, but it's been in a process for a long time, and it takes a team to make that happen. And it would be so wrong of me not to credit my team and to make sure that they're credited for their incredible work, because their DNA runs in this too. I am the heartbeat, but it takes a team to make things happen. And I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for my being the center of all of that as a young black woman, because I think that that's what we need now. I hope that the impact that my work has on an African audience is pride, and relatability also. I really hope that young people from Bots watch this and that they laugh and that they get the jokes and that they really feel seen and heard and recognized. To me, that's the most important thing, just that we get to see ourselves.